There's Tommy about to head up in the Rebel. Let's see how he does. See if he can get past this point in the trail. And we'll see how I do in the Raptor. Oh, there he goes. He's struggling. He's gonna do it. Is he gonna do it? Ladies and gentlemen, behind me is the undisputed light-duty off-road pickup champion of the world, the Ford Raptor. And to my right is the Challenger, the brand spanking new Ram Rebel. And today we're going to find out if the Challenger can dethrone the champion by going way up there, almost to 14,000 feet. And that is coming up next on the Fast Lane Truck. It's just crawling and grabbing and grasping, just using all that torque to move a very heavy truck up something that a very heavy truck probably shouldn't go up. It's doing it with complete confidence and ease. Look at that. Okay, good. Passenger. There you go. Going to almost 14,000 feet above sea level. Colorado actually has 52 14ers. These are mountains that are higher than 14,000 feet above sea level. And we're going to be just across Gray's Peak, which is a 14er in Colorado, when we get to the very top of this trail. Now, I've never gone up this trail in the Rebel, but I have gone up in the Raptor, so it'll be interesting to compare the two. Now, the immediate difference that I can tell you just from driving it here on the highway is that they're very different trucks in terms of their suspension. The Rebel is much more buttoned down, much more dampened. It feels like a modern crossover in a lot of ways. The Raptor, on the other hand, has that almost 1970s luxury car ride, because that suspension is so long and so soft, it kind of just glides down the highway. Now, what does that mean when we get on the trail? Well, we're about to find out. Style-wise, there's no doubt that this Rebel is a handsome truck. It's rough and it's tough, but style-wise, it seems like FCA, an American-Italian company, added a little Italian mustache to the front of the truck. While Ford, well, they gave the Raptor that classic Coke bottle shape. And I gotta go with the Coke bottle shape as being a little bit more sexy and handsome. Now it's getting a little steep and deep. You've got this unique stitching that matches this red inlay here. You also have, special seats. You have Rebel badging everywhere, and you have Toyo all-terrain tires, which are great in circumstances like this. But none of that, except for the tires, of course, is going to make a huge difference when you're off-roading. What makes a huge difference is the ability for the truck to cross and ford rocks and streams and go up steep hills. And with that, we do get the air suspension, which does lift it up nicely. So yeah, there is a lot of off-road worthiness in this truck that you don't necessarily have in the Raptor, because the Raptor, the suspension is set. Here you can raise it. The biggest difference between these two trucks is, of course, suspension. Now, you know that the Raptor has long travel Fox shocks, and when they built it, they had to move the fenders out to make room for the shock absorbers, and they're only available on the Raptor. The Ram, on the other hand, well, this model comes with air suspension, and you can get that on other models, but it does make it handy for increasing, as you can tell, your approach and departure angles. The question that you've all been waiting for: how does this do off-road compared to the Raptor? And the answer is great. Just does really great. You know, I know the Raptor has a locking rear differential, but at least in this very steep and deep, rocky off-road environment, this Rebel is just eating it up. No problems whatsoever. I haven't even hit or dragged anything underneath the truck, and of course both trucks are protected, so I was expecting to be bashing boulders and scratching skid plates, but so far, and it could just be because of this air suspension, I have had no issues whatsoever in terms of hitting anything on the underside of this truck. These trucks are just loving this, loving it. They're like little kids on the playground, completely eating it up in their element. Up there, that's called Radical Hill. It's 14 degrees of loose rocks and dirt. It's a real test of off-roading. So let me switch from the Ram to the Raptor and see which one of these trucks is going to be the champion, because this is about as good as it gets off-road, at least west of the Mississippi. First and foremost, the Raptor has some very special tricks up its sleeve that are missing from at least that version of the Rebel. First and foremost, I have a performance gauge that tells me the angle of the truck, both this way and of course horizontally, and I know that because when we get to Radical Hill, it's 14% of straight up grade. I also have a dedicated off-road mode here, which sets up all the electronics to give me optimal traction. Now the Rebel has that as well, with that special rear diff that helps appropriate traction to the right places, but this Raptor has one more unique thing, and that is the ability to actually lock the rear differential. And you can really tell when the thing is locked, especially when you're going around a tight turn. It's just clawing at the earth, just trying to grab for as much traction as it can. Under the hood of the Raptor is a 6.2 liter V8 that puts out 411 horsepower, and it does make it more powerful than the Ram, but not by a lot, because under the hood of the Ram is a Hemi V8 that puts out 395 horsepower, or 16 horsepower less than the Raptor, so they're pretty even. Now the one thing that does kind of bug me a little bit about the Ram is this fake hood scoop. The ones on the Raptor, well, at least there's holes in the metal, so that perhaps they are actually venting some heat. Here, it's just for looks. So far, the world champion, at least until we get to the top of Radical Hill, when we can really differentiate between these two trucks, is the fact that it is ultimately comfortable. The suspension on the Rebel, you know, tidy, really buttoned down, really great. I mean, let's face it, Ram knows how to build an off-road truck. They've been building the Power Wagon forever, and that is probably the most capable off-road truck you can buy. Of course, it is a heavy-duty truck, so it is in a different category from these two trucks, but nevertheless, that has power, approach angles, departure angles, ground clearance, everything that you want. They know how to build a great off-road truck. But Ford, man, they really knocked it out of the ballpark with this truck, and that is a feat that is hard to beat. There's the Ram struggling now. Look at that. He got caught up and lost traction. So we'll see how the Ford does in the same area. There he goes. He's struggling. He's gonna do it. Is he gonna do it? He did it, but oh my. He worked. He had to really work at it. Alright, same exact area in the Raptor. Let's see what happens. As slow as possible, as fast as necessary. Wow, look at that. No problem whatsoever. Well, I think that speaks for itself. Full disclosure, this Raptor is our long-term truck, and we've had it a long time, and I've probably become emotionally attached to it. So I want to put that out there, and I want to be fair to the Rebel. But driving them back to back like this, I can tell you immediately that this just inspires more confidence. And I'm behind the Rebel now, and I'm following it, and you know, I can see that it's doing great. There's nothing that the Rebel is struggling with either. But it's just the composure of this truck, right? This one just does it in kind of that James Bond manner, where it just easily takes on this very tricky off-road. Welcome to the top of the world. We're almost at 14,000 feet above sea level. And thank you for joining me all the way up here. I hope it was worth it. Over there is Webster Pass, and over here, well, over here we have the two trucks. And I started out this video by asking, which one is the champion? Is it the returning champion, or is it the challenger? Well, I think you know the answer by now. It's the champion, the Ford Raptor. Not by knockout, but by decision. Why? Well, because it made it up here and it made it look easy. It's got all the electronic aids, plus it has the suspension travel to make going up to the top of the world easy. That is a damn fine truck. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the Ram Rebel. Both of these trucks made this look easy. But there has to be a champion, and for now, it is still the Ford Raptor. As always, this is Roman reporting from the top of the world for the Fast Lane Truck. Thanks for watching, and check out tfltruck.com for more news, views, and of course, Ram Rebel and Ford Raptor reviews. Ciao! Both these trucks have ample amounts of torque, so I don't think torque is going to be an issue going up this. What may be an issue is that the Raptor has the ability to lock the rear differential. This comes with a rear differential lock, but it's not equipped on this truck, so you can't get it. Instead, what we have here is what they're calling as a non-skid differential. So I'm sure they're not as good as a lockable differential, where you're actually locking the two rear wheels so that they can't turn at different speeds. And that, you know, there's nothing better than that off-road. And of course, the fact that you've got just gobs and gobs of ground clearance. Now, of course, you know that there's a new Raptor coming. It's a 2017 model, which means we probably won't get to drive it for at least another year. But if you want to see more off-road videos, we've taken tons of trucks off-road. All you have to do is click on me. We'll show you those off-road videos, and we'll show you more mud, dirt, and snow. Ciao. See you next time.